Hey everyone, my name is Alexa Zupko, and today I'm presenting on my project, Literary Agency, How Student Voice Leads to Classroom Engagement. So I came to the idea to work with this topic last fall when one of my students ran up to me one morning. It was about 8 a.m. and she was so energetic. She had a huge smile on her face and she had a book in her hand, but it wasn't our class text. And I remember thinking to myself, what is she so excited about? Because she never reads. And she came up, huge smile, and was like, Ms. Z, you have to read this book. And she gave it to me. I didn't recognize it, but she was telling me that it was an urban lit book by Deja King. And she was just beaming while she was talking about it, how there was so much action and drama. And as she was walking into the classroom, one of her friends also walked in and she commented on the book as well. And she was saying, oh my gosh, that book is so great. And I remember thinking to myself, wait, like you guys are reading outside of school and I don't know about it? I was so interested in this. And one of the students, one of the two girls said to me, well, imagine if we actually got to read our own books in class. And that really got me thinking, what if the students, and the students I work with are seniors, what if they actually got to read their own books in class? So that interaction really led me to my two research questions. So the first one, how does agency impact behavior? So engagement or participation in the secondary urban literature classroom. And two, how does agency impact student assessment scores in the secondary urban literature classroom? So when I started researching these questions, I noticed that much of the existing research really focuses on middle school classrooms, ELL classrooms, or classrooms abroad. There's really not too much that focuses on high schoolers, and if there is, it's suburban high schools. And that's really not what I wanted to focus on. So I knew that there's definitely work to be done on this subject matter. So in an era of high stakes testing, scripted curricula really leave very small opportunities for self-expression or any type of agency in literature classrooms. But the fact of the matter is, students really crave some authority over what they learn. The research explicitly states over and over again in different studies, different times, that students want to know that their voices matter. They want to have some input. And what's very clear to me is that students in urban schools, they deserve the access to choice and literary freedom that their suburban peers do. And it's really not something that I found was too researched. So my aim was to discover how agency in an urban high school could really transform student thinking, engagement, and empowerment. Now, I was working in a charter school during this time, and like I said, I was specifically working with senior students. So I was limited as I only taught around 80 so seniors at this time, and about 56 opted in to take surveys. So I was not really able to access the entire senior class, but I did get much student voice during focus groups and during interviews. I was also able to collect data through my lesson plans, through field notes, and then a little bit more through student work as well. Now, when analyzing the data, I found three main themes. First, a lack of trust. Students feel that the school network and the administration itself does not trust them to take charge of their own academic pursuits when it comes to reading. This is where students really brought up schools in suburban Pennsylvania. They felt that white students in particular are often given choice to do what they want in their education, or at least, if they have a suggestion, they're listened to more. The students that I spoke to, those seniors felt that the administration does not trust them to make their own decisions or at least have a voice in their own education. The second theme I found is that students really have a desire for more independent reading time. Students want more time to read in class without being timed and without worrying about writing analytical paragraphs to prove they've read. Students want to read without barriers. They don't want to see that they're only given 10 minutes to read on the board. They want to know that they can just come in and read and, not worry about having all these constraints. The third and final theme, and the one that students really have the most passion towards, especially when speaking to me in focus groups and interviews, is that they want more agency in the literature classrooms, especially for seniors. Students wish that they had some input as to what they read. Students noted that, some books are important, they're in the curriculum for a reason, but more than that, they really wanted to choose books with characters that they can actually relate to. They want to see more modern texts, and they want to feel like they have a say in their education. It was really important to a lot of my seniors that, at this point in their education, they know how to pick a book, they know what they like to read, and they want to be able to take those texts and find ways to analyze them in the classroom. They really felt like they were ready as, 17, 18, some even 19 years old to do that. So I wanted to point out two pieces of data, my survey data, and then just some student quotes that I felt really emphasized some of the themes that I just touched upon. So in the survey, one of my final questions was, what is something you wish our school took into consideration for their literature classes? Almost all of the survey responses, so 50 out of 56 students, stated that they wanted some sort of choice in picking what they were able to read. So there were three categories that I put responses into. So category A, 48% of students said that they just wanted a choice to pick their own books. They were not specific about which books they wanted to read, but they just knew that they wanted the option. Category B, 34% of students said that they wanted to read books that they can relate to. So they wanted to read characters that, read about characters that were going through the same things that they were going through. One student even wrote about being able to read about characters that lived in Philadelphia. And lastly, category C, 18% of students wanted to have better options to pick from, especially in the school library. So they wanted a school library that really had a variety of texts, as they felt that currently the school library was quite limited in their selection. I'm just going to leave a few seconds, probably about 15 seconds, for anyone that's watching to read through the student quotes, as I really feel that they speak for themselves and the power that they hold. I just want you to read them and reflect. So I'll give about 15 seconds for that. So clearly, bringing it back, students really do want to have control, and if they did have more control, they would be more invested in their literature class, and they'd be more willing to, engage with the class, with the teacher, with their peers. So, was I able to answer my research questions? The first one, yes. Based on my findings from the study, giving urban secondary students, especially seniors, literary agency would improve behavior in the classroom. Students mentioned in numerous ways that having control and choice would make them way more excited to be in class, and a lot of them got very excited talking about it. Because of COVID-19, I'm sure so many of my peers were in the same position. I was unable to answer my second research question about assessment scores because all of the testing for the rest of the year was canceled. So implications for the future. It's clear through the existing literature and what I discovered from my study is that students must have the chance to pick their own books at some point in their academic career. This is a skill that students can take with them to their post-secondary careers, whether it's college, the workforce, or the armed forces. If administration is skeptical, a lot of students in my study actually suggested having a vote of pre-approved books over the summer on Google Classroom as a start, which I thought was a pretty good idea. With that being said, though, I think it is necessary to research the impact of agency on assessments because it is a big piece of the puzzle. And I would also investigate this subject with a larger sample size. But with that being said, thank you for tuning in. I hope that this gave you a lot to think about, and I hope you have a great day or evening. Bye.